Hello everyone, this is Daryl Robinson from the Jordan School Board, wanting to bring you up to date to the recent announcement of a new innovative school in the Jordan School District. We have a partnership with Utah State University with the Bastion family to create an innovative school, which we believe is unlike any other school in the state of Utah and perhaps the nation. This innovative school will give an opportunity for your kids to learn in a unique way as we move into 21st century and learning and personalized education. Take a second and listen to the presentation made by the members of our team. The renditions that you'll see on this presentation are renditions of what Utah State's campus will look like. Jordan School has not been developed yet, but they will have a similar flow as the campus will be built together.
I just wanted to say, I think for Mike and I and those of us that were on this subcommittee is thank you for the opportunity to dream a little bit. As former building principals, you don't always get the opportunity to sort of look at this big picture and dream and kind of wonder what could be. And so thank you for that opportunity, because it was a fun project, and it was great to collaborate with our colleagues. So do you want to go ahead and start the framework? Okay.
So Utah State has asked if we could, if I sum it up, most everyone here on the board knows exactly. Utah State has tasked us, we're looking at type of an innovative school, an innovative campus. And one of the first things, though, that we want to iterate right off the bat is that it's not something that goes away from the foundation of Jordan School District. Okay, here, one of the things that we really strongly believe in, one of the things that we follow is the MTSS, the multi-tiered support system through the PLC structures. And that's one thing we wanted to highlight right off the bat is, yes, it's an innovative campus. Yes, it's doing something a little bit differently, but it's also focusing on student learning. It's focusing on collaboration. It's focusing on results. So as you look at that for learning, the focus is the Utah Core Standards. That is what is going to be taught. But how it is taught is, is through the ISTE framework. The ISTE framework is a innovative kind of different style of teaching using technology, but the focus still stays on student learning and student growth and student ability to show that growth. Now it's going to be a little bit different than we've traditionally looked at student growth, but it's going to be something that would still give you the same data as we've had in the past. The focus on collaboration. The PLC communities are going to have to be really, really strong for this to work. There's a lot of collaboration that goes into play, and as we go through this, you'll see how much it really factors in. And then that blended learning, not blended learning just at the school, but blended learning through the entire community. So that collaboration isn't just at the school, it's with all stakeholders involved. And then also the results. As we look at, we're here to increase student learning. At the end of the day, that's what's most important is those students. And each student's going to have an individual path for success, but they're also going to have advocates that are built in not for themselves to be taught how to be advocates, but also their parents and teachers be advocates for those students. So I think it's important that we understand that as we go through and we, dream which is great to dream. I love to dream, but we have a foundation. The foundation should be the same in every school district-wide on this MTSS model.
So the campus layout is, obviously it would be great if we could have a model and a visualization of this, but it would really be designed as multiple units or multiple buildings that support a pre-K to post-high setting, which would be divided into a couple of different sections. So, for example, a K-8 school with a variety of different classrooms in it, a 9-12 school with a variety of different classrooms in that as well, interactive labs that can have varieties of uses to help support that project, and theme-based learning, not only for classrooms, but across grade levels and across content areas. And we'll go into that a little bit. And also that we would have options built within the structure to be able to create some flexible learning spaces, whether that be walls that shift and move or that you can write on, or ways to open up parts of the campus for broader learning opportunities and then shut them back off again for, smaller learning conversations, and furniture and equipment that also facilitate that idea of collaborating across grade levels and across content areas and creating theme-based projects. So just kind of picture now what we were talking about with the earlier presentation on the level 3 progression, right? This is what we would want schools to achieve or get to, and where we would want to start our new schools out on that level 3 blended learning and personalized learning platform. And so this center would really be that plus, right? So it would start out with that as the baseline, but we would really need to look at some essential resources to make the concepts work. So for example, some smaller class sizes, so that as you're really doing personalized and individualized learning and you're doing a lot of project-based outcomes with students, that you would be able to work individually with students, that you would have increased planning time for teachers, and that would not only be within grade levels, but planning time for cross grade levels and cross content level projects, to be able to make sure that the full vision of students really accessing the world of work and putting what they're learning into practice would be able to be supported and implemented. Increased teacher contract days during the summer to plan, to support ongoing projects, to provide opportunities for summer camps and learning even for students during the summer. Another reason why the campus would really technically could be used 24/7, 365, maybe not Christmas, 64 days of the year. But we would really have that full level of level 3 implementation for teaching and learning, as well as the things that we talked about with that level 3 progression, which is the ongoing job-embedded professional development for teachers to be able to fully implement and continually increase their skills, so that they can help prepare their students for the skills they're going to need for college and for life and for work. So that would be some of the essential resources that would make it look just a little bit different maybe than a typical school with that level 3 progression already in place.
So with that in mind, the school is based on 4 main pillars. And the 4 main pillars are the focus of the school in what the teachers do, what the staff does, what the students do each and every day. So you have community, competency, personalization, social and emotional wellness. Now, as we talk about these things, I mean, they're great. Students construct knowledge and skills to prepare them to contribute to a complex and evolving global community. And I mention that because at the school, we don't just take those things that sound nice, we take those things and we have structures in place that make them actually happen. We have the data to show that it's working. We have those, like I mentioned, the increased time for PLCs is because the teachers need to have the time to be able to create and to innovate to be able to provide this type of learning environment. So the level of teaching required at this school is going to be pretty high, but the level of support and the level of professional development is also going to be extremely high. So as we look at these, and that's one thing to keep in mind, is that this group, our committee, the subcommittee, thought through all these and said, okay, this is great. Now, how do we make it actual reality? And we'll kind of go over that a little bit more as we go through this. So with the competency, the students gain competency by demonstrating knowledge, skills, and dispositions in core content areas through a variety of methods. This is a little bit, there is standards-based grading built into this, but also the students need to report back on their knowledge, skills, and dispositions. You know, a parent's not going to go to a kindergarten show and watch their kid do a little performance. No, they're going to go watch their kindergartner go through a PowerPoint or a Google slideshow and present on something that no one thought a kindergartner would be able to talk about. These kids are going to be able to gain competencies that are not only at their level but also above because of their collaboration of having peers that are in the same school that are of multiple grade levels they work with. Personalization, student learning is adjusted to meet the unique skills, interests, strengths, and needs of each learner. Each kid will have an individual learning path, and we'll get into that a little bit more, what that looks like. And then social and emotional wellness. You know, most importantly, students learn self-regulation of creative problem solving through building relationships and positive interpersonal connections. So this is important. So as students walk away from the school, whether they're there for a couple years, they transfer in, whatever that might look like, the students walk away a better person. They've been taught skills of how to be part of the community, how to show competency, and they have skills that are related to them personally. So as we look at those, so the first part would be the K-8 school. As you look at each of those pillars, so competency. Through some research that has been done, it has been shown that using a thematic approach in a blended learning environment is going to be the most effective. The students have context, they place what they're learning to something that is relatable, something that is part of their world, something that they can learn about, and then through blended learning they're able to dive into deeper. You know, they're not just a computer to write a paper, it's a computer to learn and to do and to create. They're not going to just regurgitate information. They're going to create their own information. That competency then would be measured in portfolios, projects, evaluations, and presentations. Community. Now, this is kindergarten through 8th grade, so each kid will have their own level of involvement with the community. It's not like as you progress, you get more involvement. No, as you're in there, you are involved. Now, depending on what the projects might look like or collaboration, they're going to be more involved or not. But they have multi-grade level collaboration. How wonderful for a kindergartner to be able to provide their input to a 2nd grader, a 3rd grader, a 6th grader, or an 8th grader be able to coach and mentor and help with a project on a 4th grader. You know, as students graduate out of school, graduate, go into the world, it's not like, oh, okay, level 1, year 1 people in the company, you work with year 1, year 2, you work with year 2. No, it's a cross-collaboration, that community, and that's what it teaches them, and they do projects, they do tasks, problem solutions that are all connected to real-life experiences through that thematic approach. Personalization. This is going to be, I think, pretty awesome. The core instruction is taught in the morning, so in essence, a kid could come half day and have all the skills they need to meet the core standards. You know, that's not really, as we look at depth of knowledge, you know, they can get that basic understanding. They can walk away with that if they, just in the morning. But it's that application, the project-based application in the afternoon, where students are working on individualized projects and applying what they're actually learning at a higher level, and that's where that cross-collaboration across grade level comes into play. Now with that, the teachers, the increased planning time needed to be able to pull something off like that, and that's where, as an essential resource, it was talked about before, because that is something that's essential. Also, students have collaborative and explicit learning experiences and expectations. Social and emotional growth. There's a cognitive growth and social and emotional development. Students are going to be taught the skills needed to be able to develop into a human that's productive to society, but not only to be able to develop those skills, now let's go and apply those skills. Let's go into the community, and the student will know in kindergarten what a contributing member of society looks like, because they are going to be a contributing member of society. They are doing those things right away. They're also going to be, students are going to be community and school mentors and advocates for each other. And that's a K-8 setting. It's pretty impactful when you look at students have a morning where they're learning things that are connected to them, they're about life. Yeah, it's the core standards, but it's taught in a way that's a little bit unique through the ISTE standards. Then they have the afternoon to go and apply those, and to be able to develop projects and walk away with skills and competencies that are unique, that are a little bit different.
One of the challenges that was given to us as part of this discussion through Utah State was to really look at how we incorporate the needs of students with diverse needs and with even disabilities into the model, and really looking at that more inclusive structure that allows for a campus that is preschool to post-high, and how it can support all students in an inclusive learning setting. So we really applied the pillars to models that we currently have, and in fact some of the models that we currently have helped us to inform us on the pillars for some of the other models. So for example, adding classrooms for preschool within the K-8 structure. It's not a separate school, but within the K-8 structure that are still focusing on the same 4 pillars. So the competency, utilizing the thematic content-based learning approach, making connections with the community, whether it's mentors within the school or within the community that helps support opportunities for students with disabilities and preschool age students to learn and grow, but also to provide opportunities to provide teacher training programs within this model itself, right? We need to grow our own, and we need to bring those training settings to our campuses and let our students participate in helping other teachers become better teachers and have internships. Also, to really focus on personalized growth plans for students, for preschool students with and without disabilities, to help prepare them to transition into this new sort of learning approach where things are a lot more thematic based and where there's a lot of cross grade level collaboration on projects, and be able to have the beginning of that happening when they're 3 and 4 years old will help to make that transition into this sort of new world of learning easier for all students.
So the 9-12, we look at the individual pillars. So it kind of transitions after they finish 8th grade. That transition comes into where students are able to now kind of pick a little bit more personalized interests and personalized learning paths. And so as you look at competency, the competency in the 912 is going to be done through blended learning. Now, the important thing with blended learning is, yes, the student does work on their computer, but there's also the face-to-face component. So with blended learning, the kid's still going to have that interaction with the teacher, still have those meetings to go over what's going on, but they're going to have an individualized plan that they can work on at school, they can work on at home, they can wherever that, and then they take that and they apply it into learning projects. They deepen their learning through application, through taking those type of things and then involving them into different projects. So if a student loves art, a student's not going to go to an art class for 40 minutes and then walk away once a week. No, he's going to go art, and he might be there for 2-3 hours. Being able to hone his craft, to be able to develop what they want that to look like. So there's going to be and that's where that personalization comes into play here, is to give students that opportunity in the 912 to pick certain focuses and to dive into those focuses. So part of community with the 912 student is they are going to be mentoring and coaching the K-8 students. And also those students in the 912 are going to be mentored and coached by people outside of the school or by school leaders and community leaders. Starting right off the bat at kindergarten all the way up through high school, to know what it's like to be mentored, to know what it's like to coach someone else, and then to go out in the world and be able to do that for other people, but also to be coached. If we look at a lot of successful leaders, they have someone that they turn to as a coach, someone who's a mentor. So we want to establish that right off the bat. These students also take place in work-based learning, externships, job shadowing, university mentoring and projects. This collaboration with Utah State opens up a world of possibilities for these students. They don't have to wait till they graduate to be able to go and do something like that. No, let's have them doing it right away. The ability to go and pursue certain interests, to go maybe pursue certifications, whatever that might look like, but they have that option. In the personalization, the teachers are still, they still guide the individualization. They still know what's happening, but the students with the teachers, they set goals. They design instruction together. So what that would look like is you had a half day of core instruction and half day of a magnet is what we're referring to that. They pick that specialization in magnet-centered projects. So the students are still learning what they need to learn. They're able to take that, though, and apply it in a different setting. So it's not just let me write this paper because you're going to give me a grade on it. No, let me write this paper because it goes along with my project. Oh, you want me to create a presentation? Well, I'm going to take that presentation and present it to a business leader. So there's more of an application. These students have those connections to be able to see what it's like to be able to work in certain fields or be able to learn and what that learning looks like as they move on. But most importantly, as we look at these students, the social and emotional wellness. There's going to be interpersonal connections with counselors, psychologists, peers, teachers, and parents. The school will be based on positive behavior interventions and supports, which has research behind it, so that students, as they go through the 9 through 12 and the K-8 and the preschool and then beyond, they have social skills that will take to be able to transfer into the world outside of school. They'll be able to have the skills to be able to know what it's like to connect with other people, to be a productive member of a society. I mean, plus they've already shown that through their different projects that they've been able to participate in for not just 1 year, like, at the very end, here's your culminating project. No, a student could walk away K-12 with hundreds of projects that they've been able to participate in, something that now going and getting a job or going and being part of the community, they have that knowledge, they have that ability to do so.
Just as we had integrated the preschool program options into the K-8 school, we also integrated post-high options into the 912 school for students with disabilities who have the need to continue their education through the age of 22 and to be able to continue to learn independent life skills. We actually have a current model in our district that we call Life Design, which for students with disabilities who really need some supported practice in creating those independent life skills like accessing jobs, understanding personal safety related to transportation, or taking care of their own personal finances, time management, things like that, helps to teach them more and more independent skills to be able to access the world of work, access their life, and perhaps live independently, even though their disability may make some of those things a little more difficult. But with supported practice and job coaches, they're able to be successful at that. So that would look like things like focusing on those personal independent living skills, accessing community jobs through job coaches, whether that be jobs on the campus or around the campus or in the local community businesses, or access to other providers of supported work, and we could provide the job coaches for those. The other thing that we pointed out with community is that Utah State University has a program on campus called Aggies Elevated. Aggies Elevated is an on-site residency-based program for students with disabilities to get a campus life experience, but in a very structured and supervised setting. And rather than replicating that, looking at how we could utilize life design in this collaboration with Utah State University to provide a on-campus, campus life opportunity with the activities associated with any other adult USU student, but maybe still maintaining that residency in their homes that their parents have set up for them, or in a group home setting or something like that. So it's maybe a bridge between the Aggies Elevated versus just being at home without any independence. Also, the focus, of course, would still be on social emotional wellness and really helping students to develop those healthy personal relationships that sometimes when you're a student with a disability, it's maybe difficult because you don't understand interactions or communication or being able to make your wants and needs known without some support. And then finally, many of our students that currently are in our life design program, with a little extra time, they actually receive a regular high school diploma or an adult high school diploma. And so providing those ongoing opportunities for our students with disabilities to be able to complete their high school diploma requirements as based on their IEP goals, and to finish out their transition IEP goals to be able to be more independent in the world of work, would be part of the focus of those centers for post-high life design as part of this campus.
I think you can see how just excited we are in the Jordan School District to have partners like the Bastian family and Utah State University to create an innovative school that we believe cannot be found in the state of Utah and maybe even throughout the United States. This campus will be a great place for not only those who choose to come to this school, but also many of the students in our district that will have opportunities to attend and use these facilities. We're in the process right now of looking at ways that we would implement this school, whether or not that will come very quickly or maybe a little bit longer as Utah State builds out. We have some ideas here, and we certainly would be open to your input, some of your ideas and some of your solutions as we look at ways to maybe provide a better education for our students as we look for stronger outcomes. We believe that this is a great school, that many of you will self-select your students to come attend and perhaps help them as they learn in their schooling process. Thanks everybody. Let me know if you have any questions.